Hi there. Do you want to know which sentence most IELTS test takers make 4 mistakes in and how you can avoid that? If so, keep watching. I never forget the day when a freshman at one of the top 3 international institutes in my country embarrassed himself in public. But he was lucky because most students didn't even notice it. It was the first day of institute and we were getting to know each other. We, the 3 elite groups of 75 students in total, were sitting in the lecture room and most of the students had higher than the average IELTS test scores. I was in the elite group number 2. Then, some guy stood up and introduced himself. And his friend added, "He took 8 from IELTS." I looked around thinking, did you guys notice that he just messed it up? But I saw no reaction in people's faces. So I turned to the guy and asked,
"Can I make a suggestion? Why don't you purchase a dictionary? You'll save yourself a lot of embarrassment."
If you didn't get the joke, you haven't seen my video IELTS speaking part 2 and 3. By the way, I didn't say that. I just thought it. Anyway, the problem is, I've heard so many students, including the ones with really high scores, make the same mistake over and over again while talking about their scores. To me, nothing could be more embarrassing than making not 1, not 2, but 4 mistakes in a single sentence. But this is not going to happen to you, because now you're going to find out what those mistakes are and how you can avoid them. The 4 mistakes. 1. A wrong collocation. 2. An article is missing. 3. A wrong preposition. 4. An article is missing. Let's take the most common sentence and analyze it together. I took 5 from IELTS. 1. I took 5. The collocation is wrong. Collocation is the way some words naturally come together. Words such as commit a crime, make a suggestion, offer a solution usually come together. You can take a test or you can take a certificate, but when it comes to a score, you get it. So don't say I took, say I got. Get it? Let's move on to problem number 2. 2. Took 5. An article is missing here. When you say 5, you're not talking about a number. You're talking about a score, which is a countable noun. So instead of saying I got 5, say I got a 5, A6 or A7. You can even say it the way Americans do. I got a 7. Get it? Let's move on. 3. From IELTS. Wrong preposition. This is the big one because most students, even the ones with good scores, use an incorrect preposition. Why? Because they have never heard it from a native speaker, but I did, and that's why I know. So instead of from, use on. So you should say, I got A5 on the exam. Get it? Let's move on to the last mistake. 4. IELTS. An article is missing here too. The IELTS is the only exam of its kind. Just like the sun and the earth, it's one of a kind, which is why saying I got a 5 on IELTS is not right, but saying I got a 5 on the IELTS is. Bonus tips. I got a 5 on the IELTS is a pretty basic, rudimentary way of talking about your score. So, if you want to jazz it up a little, you could say, I received an overall IELTS band score of 8.5. Also, if you're talking about your subtest scores, your scores on the listening, the reading, and the speaking and the writing subtests, you should say, I'm getting an 8 on the listening, but a 7.5 on the reading. Now, from now on, when you talk about your score, I hope you'll say it correctly. That's it. Thanks for watching and subscribing if you haven't already. Have a great day.